Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me A. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. This is your boy Raw One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I do each and every week, man. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people, but not this week. This week, we're going to try to have a little continuation of last week because I had so many responses of you guys sending me stuff and sending me videos. Man, I got a whole bunch of videos, man. I had to go through them of all different type of things too, man. Shout out to JD Dudley. Shout out to just a bunch of y'all, man. That just, I don't know, y'all just feel the need to share them videos with me. I guess y'all feel like I'm gonna say something, even though I don't really do videos as much on here because of the whole situation where people stuff be getting flagged. But then I noticed that things have lightened up a little bit because so many other people have reaction videos and all this other stuff too. So tonight, I got just that. But before we get into that, y'all know what I got to do each and every week. I get up here and I like to thank all of the people that download the audio version of this platform because you guys are the real MVPs and y'all keep me rolling, man. And I definitely appreciate y'all because without y'all, then listen, this would just be another thing just to do, almost be considered a hobby. But with all the people out there that download the audio version, letting me know that y'all really rock with your boy, man, I definitely appreciate y'all. And listen, I know it may sound redundant, right? Because of me being a person that I'm saying, like, yo, I really appreciate everything. I appreciate y'all sending the videos that y'all send. I appreciate all the people that get in my inbox and stuff and be talking to me about different things that I've said on the platform. Also giving your opinion on different things. And I like that, yo, especially from last week, because when I talked a little bit about the Charlie Kirk stuff, we're going to get into that too, because, yeah, it was a different perspective. And now I'm looking at things from the same perspective, but a little bit different. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. But I also want to say this, as I'm saying thank you to all the people, man. I really want to thank all the people that be pushing play on that content too, yo. Let me say this to y'all, man. Thank y'all, man. Word. For everybody that share the content, man. Thank y'all, yo, because listen, that stuff free to do. So knowing that you do that for me, it just makes me understand that, you know, I'm not doing this in vain, even though, you know what I mean? Like, I can't do that for that reason. That's not why we put out content. That's not why we do these things. We don't do these things so we can get instant gratification, but we do it because it's in us and we believe in ourselves, right? Because everybody had to start from somewhere. But just knowing that there are people out there that be like, yo, let me share it. Well, they don't ask, but I'm just saying, like, yo, they share it. Like, whatever the thought come to their mind, they come across it, they like it, they don't, but they share it because it gets so many views. But if you think about the views, that's the only thing that all the social media content places don't do. It don't show you who viewed your stuff. So you don't know. You don't know if it's your friends. You don't know if it's your colleagues. You don't know if it's your family. All you could tell by if somebody that you know is rocking with you or not is if they hit the like button or the love button or the share or they leave a comment, because that's the only way you would know. Like, you could have hundreds of thousands of views, but you won't know who in the world is doing what, because you just won't know, because people won't let you know, like, yo, this is me. Or they don't do the things that let you know that it's them, like, comment, and share. They won't do that because that lets you know exactly who it is. But, you know, so for those of y'all that do that, thank y'all, man. Word. Because that's what's fly. Because I'm telling y'all, man, you would think that whenever a person is doing something that's positive, that more people would just gravitate to the positivity. You know what I mean? Especially with the way things are in the world. There's so much negativity going on, so much death and destruction. You would think that people will find something that was positive and be like, yo, I want to support what's positive. I want to get any type of thing out there that's more positive, but you figure out that that ain't the case. People like positive, but not if you're doing better than them, or at least if it looks like that. But people don't understand, like, it's no difference between me and nobody else with a dream. The only difference between me and anybody else with the dream is that I choose to live mine. I don't know what you choose to live with yours. Everybody said that when they got to a certain age, their dreams didn't become reality, so they gave their joints away or they threw it away because that's what they was chasing. Me, I wasn't doing these things just so I could, accumulate some type of wealth. You know what I mean? I do all this other stuff in the background to hustle to get things going, like so I don't have to rely on that to be the reason why I don't do what I love to do. So doing what you love to do can change your life, can add value to you and the things that you have that's a responsibility. But until it takes place, you got to be able to maintain, but you can't just maintain to pay bills. You know what I mean? Like, yo, if that's your goal is just to make sure that you got your bills paid, then all right, that's not my place to be judging nobody for that. But then don't judge nobody for having a dream too, because some of us, we pay our bills and we live our dreams. Why? Because we don't look at our dreams as a means to pay our bills. It's not our way out, it's our way in. Right? Living your dream is your way into something, not your way out of shit. Yo, look, if you desperate or if you are a person that just in a position where you just need something to happen right now for your life to change, depending on how you are, who you are, and what that is, your life can change instantly, or you could do something that you shouldn't do out of desperation just to try to make something happen faster for you so you could get out of a negative situation. But that's why it's nothing wrong with you having a job or having, some type of steady income until you get where you're going. The only thing is that you can't use that as a crutch, because what a lot of people do is because they have the job, they understand that, yo, this is what's helping me maintain my bills and be able to invest in my dreams without me having to, struggle or beg or borrow for it, which is cool. The only problem is people get into that routine and all they do is pay their bills, right? Or have whatever they need left over for shopping or going here or traveling or just entertainment. But when it comes down to your dreams and your goals, like, yo, yeah, this is your way of maintaining until those things pop off for you, but you gotta do those things too. You don't get to just sit here. Well, if you want to, that's on you. I'm just saying, for those of us, like I'm saying, if you don't want us to judge you for giving up on your dreams because of your age or because of your demographic or because of where your location is, all right? You can say whatever you need to say to yourself, but when other people are living theirs, you can't be knocking them either, because they saying to themselves like, nah, none of that don't matter. And it really don't. Because if you kind of think about it, the guy who came up with KFC, even though KFC is worldwide now, it's been mad long since the company has been around. But think about it, the guy didn't become famous or he didn't get his paper until he was like 80 years old. He didn't even get accepted for being a person who had a good recipe for chicken until he was 80 years old. He tried all that time. And then it finally became successful because he didn't give up, because it's about God's timing, not our timing. Right. And I heard something today that was really dope about that. Right. Whenever we think about God, see, we like to think about God as a person because we are people. We like to think that time is relevant to God as it is to us, but we don't understand, like, when you create something, like, time is not relative to the creation that you create. It's just like, you know, I'm not comparing things that's created by humans as being created as a human. I'm not doing that. But what I'm saying to you is that, think about it. When a lot of times when we take something that's in our mind and we create it, let's say like content, for example, whenever them thoughts come to my mind and then I get to the people and I ask them, can they show up? And they show up and we get in there and we get to work and then we create the content. After the content is created and we put the content out, it's a constant piece of art or a piece of life that you continue to give life to, that can continue to grow for you. And this is what I mean by when it comes down to the creator. That's why, for me personally, I don't really feel like the creator is a he or she. If it's more like a it, I would get that too, but I wouldn't put that in a disrespectful way. I wouldn't look at God as an it in disrespect, but I wouldn't look at him as a man or a female, and I wouldn't look at him, or I'm calling him him because it's so used to saying Father God, and because anytime we think about leader, top, Even though most women won't admit that, it's a man that you think about. That's why when it comes to God or the greatest or the creator, we all refer to him as a he or a him because that's the natural order of things. But then so many people, they'll fight against that notion, right? Because they want equal this, they want independent that, they want to be just like this or be just like that. That's why we got all these things that's going on out here in the world today, because people feel like it's okay to not be yourself. They feel like, yeah, I could be somebody else, so that's what I'm going to do. And we got a world full of real actors, not people that's in front of the screen, but people who live their life each and every day as something that they was not born as. But when we think about God, we put him in a box. We put him in in a gender, and then that's why we look at things the way we do, because we don't look at it as a all. We don't look at it as an encompass of something, right? Because when we think about, let's just put this for an example. Whenever we think about the creation story from the means of when Adam was created, he was created so supposedly by himself, and then Eve was created, right? So then boom, and they say that they fashioned Eve from the rib of Adam, right? So what I'm thinking about is like, all right, so for me, it makes me think of genetic material, right? Because whatever Adam was, Adam had to be the first of something in order for them to be able to take something from him. Because if you think about it, in the Bible, it never says that Adam was the only one. It says he was the first of his kind. So what does that mean? Right? So we could go into that. That could be a little bit deeper. For me, I have a different understanding of that. I feel like he was born through one of the goddesses as one of them, as an offspring of the merging between those that was already here and the people who came here and started genetically altering with our DNA and stuff, and turned us, eventually to what we are now. But that's my interpretation of it. I'm not trying to tell anybody that's not it. What I'm saying to y'all is you kind of think about all of these things from even in the beginning up until now. Anything that is created, right? Or any person or anything that's in a position to be created is considered a God. So whenever they come up and they say that God said that we were created in the image of him, which the image is not necessarily the look. And I think that's what it is, because the image, if you think about an image of something, if a person captures a picture, it captures the whole everything about what is in that picture, the background, if it's wide enough to get the floor, the ceiling, whatever. Everything is encapsulated in a picture. So if you think about the image, it's everything in it, and the image is created. So even in that, we created in the image of God, which means that we are creators. But most people don't look at their lives in a position of saying like, yo, my gift that I didn't ask for, right, that was given to me can help me just maintain my life. Let's think about stress. Let's think about all the things that people go through on a day-to-day basis, right? A lot of times people go through so much stuff, but yo, if they was just in their dream or in their position, so to speak. And what I mean by that is basically your purpose. If people was in their purpose, their outlet would be right there for them in order for them to be able to deal with the things that they feel like is stressing them out. Think about it. Like, yo, if you're a rapper and you got all these things going on in your life, then your stress reliever is a beat and a microphone and a recorder or a producer or an engineer or whatever that whole scenario is for yourself. But anyway, that pen and that pad, if that's how you get your thoughts down, or if you one of them people that like to get it out your head, that either way it go, like however that go, that's your outlet. If you a tennis player, yo, that's your outlet. Right. And if you can't find nobody to play with you, then you go play racquetball, right? You got the wall and hit it back to you, hit it to the wall and hit it back. Right. So if you, whatever you are, if you're a basketball player, if you that frustrated, go to the court and practice. All that anger and frustration, if you put that into your art, it's not gonna do nothing but make that better. It just makes it better. Some of y'all are going through so many things in your life because you don't stay in your purpose. Most people, if you was in your purpose, you would avoid some things. I avoided so many things just by being in the studio. I avoided so many different things that happened in different neighborhoods and all the other stuff that I was living in, different people that I normally would hang around or whatever, because I just I felt like I wanted to be somewhere creative. And I know For a lot of y'all feel like y'all creative years is over, right? Y'all feel like, yo, you too old or something. You feel like you this, like, or like, yo, ain't nobody want to listen to me, or ain't nobody want to do this if I do that, or I ain't gonna start no podcast. Everybody got a podcast. Is you crazy? If everybody had a podcast, then that means we will have more information. It's so much many different niches out here that nobody has jumped into yet when it comes down to this podcast and stuff. It's so many different lifestyle variations of things that people can do, but they won't do it. And then they don't understand that sometimes it ain't just the information, it be the teacher. Some of y'all teach a certain subject better than the people that's already been doing it. It's just that the people that's already been doing it is what's there for the people who looking for it. So whenever y'all look at yourselves in the mirror or whatever y'all do, and you can sing, or if you can write, or if you do poetry, or if you like to do art, you paint, you draw, I don't know what you like to build car. I don't know what it is that you feel like you got inside of you. If you are a listener, if you're a great listener, you know how many people need somebody to listen to? That's a business right there. Just to have somebody to listen to and be able to bounce ideas and thoughts off of. That's not just there to listen, to respond. That's not listening to even like not even a therapist, because sometimes a therapist is going to give you certain things. It's just like some people just need somebody that they could just listen to them. That's a gift too. Don't think just because like you that could be a gift that could get you money. It's just that people don't think about it. If people can make money from you going to float around in some water with salt, because they got salt bath therapy out here where people just go float in salt water. Now, I don't know what made people feel like, yo, that was fly, that was the thing, because if you live anywhere near the beach, you could pretty much just do that in the ocean, right? Because there's no more, they got more salt than anything. But they have these in certain spas and different places where you could go in there and just lay around in a bath and water, a pool full of salt, right? So somebody had to think of that. Somebody had to say, yo, look at the benefits of this. And they threw it out there. And now for those people that know that that's there, guess what those people do? They go float around in the salt. And I know for y'all like me, I'm like, yo, where did they come up with this? Why would they think of that? Like who thought of that? To say, yo, I'm gonna sell a situation where I'm gonna have people come and sit in the water with salt when people could just put salt in their bathtubs or whatever. So whenever y'all think about y'all, everybody is doing something. Everybody rap, everybody sing, everybody do all that, everybody make clothes. No, they don't. No, they don't. And even if you think that, you're still missing the point. You don't need everybody to be successful either. So what? If everybody is doing something, what kind of audience they got? Because every time I turn around, some of the biggest podcasters in the world, they got the same type of audience as somebody that was considered number two or number three, right? So I don't know why that if that's really a thing when people say like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, everybody doing something. Everybody not talking about the same thing though. Some people just need to know how to smell good. Some people don't know how to pick fragrances out, what to pick, how to match, what they feel like with they body chemistry. Some people don't know that. Some people don't know how to match. They don't know how to block colors. What I'm saying to y'all is if a person will sell other people the ability to go to a place and lay around in salt water when everybody has a tub in their house and everybody has access to Epsom salt and shit like that they don't have to pay nobody, but they still do. That's the same concept behind the fact that y'all think that everybody is doing something, so you're not going to do it. That's crazy. If your goal, if your vision is to be in front of the camera, whether it was acting, I don't care what age it was, you don't need to go to Hollywood now. You don't need an agent. You don't need to do auditions. You don't need none of that in order to be an actor now. You just need a phone. You need a phone, you need a concept. And if it's not just you, you need people or person or whatever. Because some people, they got content popping and they getting all these other opportunities because it was just them in the camera. They had somebody behind the camera talking. You never see the person behind the camera talking, just the person in front. And they got millions of views off of the content that they get because they funny or they creative. My thing with all of you guys out there that's still thinking that you waiting on Hollywood, you don't have to wait on Hollywood. You listen. You know how many people right now whose families and all that stuff is going through this whole thing with people still chasing, trying to go chase Hollywood, people still running around. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with it. But what I'm saying to you is that you still chasing an opportunity that you can attract to you just by doing you is kind of crazy now, y'all. It's just like you in the music business, yo, you don't need to go run to go get no record deals. Like, yo, I get it. You want to be on Def Jam, you want to be on all these other, I get it, right? But what I'm saying to you, if you know that they're going to do X, Y, and Z to you, you're not no better than anybody else. If you know that, then why wouldn't you just build yourself? And I get it. Last time we was talking and we was talking about that, and people were saying, "Yo, Rob, remember the rule? You know, you want to own 100% of nothing or a percentage of something." And me personally, I say, okay, what that percentage of it equates your soul. How about you add that up then? So when the person that want to try to put you down because they took 20% of something that they gave 100% to, and somebody who didn't do nothing but allowed them to just come say that you could be over here with me and took 80% of their whole gift, talent, and everything else, if y'all saying that you look down on a person who owns 100% of their stuff and they only got 100 people supporting them instead of 1,000 or 1,000,000, they got 100 people that show up for them, then yo, how does that look like you doing any better than the other? You not, because your 20% is equaling up to their 100 people. So I'm not sure. It just depends on what you envision. Like, yo, it's 20% of whatever that 100 is that you feel like you taking. Is it worth your soul? That's the only thing. If your soul is non-negotiable, then yo, owning 100% of nothing is better than having a percentage of something. I don't know, because you have 100% of your soul. Most of these people out here have lost their soul, y'all. I'm sorry, but people chasing a dream and lost their soul in the process because they chased something that they was already in them, and if they did it already, it would attract the people. If you are an actor, whatever scene, you got a phone. You can create a scene. You can create, think about it. If reels, like shorts, reels, clips are the things that's making people popular or going viral, 60-second clips to 90-second clips, then you can create a scene within that. You could create a scene within that short amount of time and put it out there and just redo different scenes. Like if you wanted to, that's what you have to do. You don't have to go out. You could do it if you want to. Just, I'm not hating. What I'm saying is that you don't have to go get an agent and get, you don't, that's what you want to, go ahead. I'm saying you won't have to, right? Because your agent might could get you some commercials and stuff that could get you some residuals. So it's not a bad idea to go get all that. What I'm saying to you is that that ain't your way in the business. If you continue to do, the only difference with that, if you do build yourself up enough to where people are coming directly to you and you can skip past the audition role, they actually have roles for you because they've seen you already in certain different types of roles that you created for yourself, then yeah, you'll be giving your agent 20% of something that they had no help with. They just was the liaison in between the conversation. So that can happen too as well. So it's a catch 22. But if you feel like you yourself personally want to put in the work, because when I went to Atlanta and I was in there and a lot of those casting agents was saying, listen, if you're good, we'll come find you. So I was like, oh wow. So how does that work? You guys are not A&Rs, like, right? Y'all not doing the A&R thing. So how does that work where that's your thing where you say, yo, you're gonna go find people? And they said based on content. And it's the content world. So all of these comedians that started off doing skits and now they're into doing stand-up comedy. They was able to get booked already, to get paid already because they already got a following from the skits. Boom. If you're a comedian, why wouldn't you be doing skits? Like, why? This is what I mean by really understanding that you are created in the image of God. Like you are a creator. Like you don't need to sit back and wait for somebody to just recognize you for one thing. Anybody that told us that everybody was just a one trick pony or that's what we need to do, we need to be just that one trick until that trick works and then do all this other stuff was crazy. We are not built that way. We are interdimensional people. And you know that we can do more than one thing. You have to do more than one thing. You do more than one thing if you work a 9 to 5. You're doing more than one thing a day. How many multitasking is not something that you have to think about. It's just that some people feel like they could pinpoint their life like that because they recognize the fact that they could do multiple things. So they call like that. But for everyone that's alive, listen, y'all. If you can multitask, right? If that's what something that you could do, you can do more than one thing. You can walk and chew gum at the same time, y'all. Don't let them lie to you. And I know we grow up in environments that don't teach us that. Right, we grow up in environments where the number one thing what people want to do is push us into college. They want to push us into debt. They want to make us better workers for the people who already achieved whatever they need to achieve. That's what they push us in. They push us to college and all this other shit. Because they want us to be great workers. They want us to be people who don't think for themselves. They want us to be in a routine. They want to pay you enough that they know that you're going to create a lifestyle based on what you have. So long as you have a lifestyle, then they got you trapped. Because the lifestyle that most people live is based on what they make. And if they make a certain amount, they go get a certain amount. You know how many people got 2 cars? It'd be one person. They got 4 or 5 cars that work. It's crazy. But then, those be the same people who be, they gotta go to work. They got to, because everything that they do with their money goes to a lifestyle. It doesn't go into putting it somewhere where it could bring back more money. That's not the ultimate goal, because people haven't been teaching nobody that. In our generation, in our community, they don't teach us that. But let me talk about this real quick, because last week a lot of people, whenever I did the show, people was hitting me about the stuff I was saying about Charlie Kirk, because they was saying like, yo, I don't know why you would think that people should not be happy that that happened to him because of all the racist things that he said, and he was a horrible person and all this other shit. And I'm still trying to figure out at what point do you wishing or thinking that it's okay for somebody to get shot in front of people don't make you a horrible person too. I don't get what the delusion is, or like where people don't understand what morals are. Is that, yo, you could not like a person all day. You don't have to agree with what a person says, but to think that it's okay for you to celebrate a person being murdered is okay because you think that don't make you a horrible person. Like, yo, let's think about this, yo. That man, Charlie Kirk, you did not have to listen to him. There's nothing about this guy that demands the attention of people who don't agree with his rhetoric. Like, it doesn't mean that you would want to go see him dead. Now, let's talk about this for a different example. Now, because so many people have been vocal about them being okay and happy with it, you got a whole bunch of different people that's on that side that's upset and angry and ready to fight and ready to lash out at people who say that. Because it's a different perspective, right? That people, they're not looking at it. How can I put this? You know how it is whenever context is not something that people really gravitate to. It's just the words. Like, people are hang on to what you said, but not what you mean, right? Let's just put, like, because context means everything. There's nothing about the the word that we speak every day that is not a context that affects it, right? Like, you got to put it in a context, but very few people do, because they get hung up on words. So many people just listen and respond. It's the words. They get triggered emotionally, not intelligent, right? Immature, emotional immaturity, right? Because they can't take perspective. Like, yo, if you kind of look at it, y'all, whatever that man was talking about that made it about racism, made it about how black people, because these are all the things that all the black people was upset about, because he was saying, yo, if I get on the plane and I see a black pilot, I'm gonna get off, because to me, I don't think he earned it. He only got there because he was black. Which to me, I don't know why he said that, right? Because if you are a pilot flying a plane, you definitely earn the spot to be there. Trust me. They will not allow. Do you think that these airlines like getting sued? Because that's how they lose. They look. All of them ain't really making that much profit in the first place because of the way the economy is and people not really flying like that. So trust me, so he was fouled for saying that, right? Because his point was he's saying like people are just getting these positions based on how they look and not based on if they're good or not, which also goes back to to Caucasian people as well too. Throughout the years or throughout centuries, like, yo, come on, you know that there's been a lot of white people who've only gotten their jobs because they were white. So how can we really look at these things and not think that whenever a person says something like that doesn't give you the lane to be able to have an option to create your lane now, because now you got something to rebuttal. Now you got something to create conversation. So instead of all these people or certain people being mad at Charlie Kirk, why didn't you create a content or create a platform that challenges a lot of the things that you don't agree about what anybody says? It doesn't necessarily have to be that, because let's tackle this real quick. One of the things that people was mad about Charlie Kirk was because of what he said about crime and black people, because he said black people make up 13% of the population, yet we commit 50% or more of the crime, which was a lie. Because we know that there's so many people that are incarcerated right now that didn't do the crime. They incarcerated because of how they look. We know that. I've had people on this platform. If anybody wanna, I got the receipts. Listen, you could go through my catalog right now and you'll see. Like, I have people on here that are in prison or in jail and for things that they did not do. So we can't sit up here and say that. But I found this video. Well, I didn't find it. It was sent to me, a video. And I want to share this with y'all because of perspective. I'm not going to play the whole thing because the person at the end, they have their commentary and I wasn't with it. But I want to give y'all a perspective. I want to share my screen. I want to share this video with y'all because, listen, y'all, it's easy to be triggered when you don't have information. It's easily to be triggered when you're looking for a reason to be mad or a reason to hate. But for most of us, if we do our research, we can understand that sometimes people just say stuff to get a reaction. Most of us are be in relationships with people, no matter what that relationship is, and people that do things to push a button. They do things to get a reaction because they want to. For some reason, they get off on that shit, right? But once you know the game and once you know people only say things or do things just to get a reaction out of you, then you be like, oh yeah, I bet I know how to play this. I know what to do now. Like, yo, you bugging. You know what I'm saying? Now you could calmly respond to people once you know the plan. And for most people, they didn't do that when it came to Charlie Kirk. They got in their feelings and started being upset over clips. And I'm like, yo, y'all, come on, yo, listen. Let's be real here. Like, yo, that is the lane for you. It's not enough people in that space that are neutral, that can challenge these points of what these people are saying. They don't. But I got this video for y'all, and I'm gonna share it with y'all. I'm gonna share my screen because I like how Lil Man broke this down. Because look, y'all, yeah, the image of us, so people who look like me, and I'm getting away from the whole color thing, right? But listen, the people who look like me and all those people, yeah, y'all, it is a stigma. Yeah, y'all, they have used our culture against us. Yeah, y'all, they did let a whole bunch of gangster rap and all this negative pussy popping and this, that, and the third in the mainstream right now, or all these, yeah, they doing that to give the world the image of what they supposed to look at us as. So whenever a person like Charlie Kirk just quickly, just kind of very articulately throw out these stats, it make people feel like he really spitting facts. And he not. He just spitting to get a reaction. So let's check this out, yo. I want to share my screen real quick. Hold on for a second. Let me share my joint.
If you seriously believe the 13% of the population and 50% of the crime, you need to get fact checked, and I'm about to do it to you. In 2016, white people committed 70% of the convicted crime, and black people only committed 27%. Then in 2017, white people committed 68% of the reported crime, and black people only committed 26% of it. And in 2024, white people committed 53% of the reported crime, while black people only committed 25%. So this narrative on 13% of the population, 50% of the crime is wrong. You know who actually commits 50% of the crime? White people. But guess what stat black people are 13% of the population and 50% in? Exonerations. You know, when they're wrongly convicted, all you're doing by spreading this fake fact is allowing more people to profile and be racist towards black people. You know what's the highest percentage of people who are victims of white people? Black people. And if you look at all the shootings, guess who are the shooters? White dudes. So let's all think long and hard on who actually commits 50% of the crime.
As we were
Okay. All right. So look, I just wanted to share that video real quick because I wanted to put that out there in the atmosphere, right? Like, yo, listen, y'all. If that young kid right there could do his investigation, right, could do his research to kind of really figure it out, like when somebody says something, instead of getting emotional about it, let's go figure it out. Because what these people do on these platforms, y'all, they run down stats. That's what they do. They get into this stat game, right? Because whenever they talk about percentages, 50% of this, 13% of that, when they doing all that, they getting into stats. So then, bam, you could be fact checked whenever you start throwing out percentages. And like Lil Man said, like he did all of his research just to find out that, yo, I'm sorry, y'all, what y'all was saying was not true, or what he was saying was not true. But the fact that he said it and you guys would get a reaction of it, y'all were applauding the fact that he got murdered, that's crazy work. No matter how you look at it, that makes you no worse than him if you think that it's okay to celebrate a person being murdered because you didn't agree with their opinion, and then you want to turn around and tell other people they should not be sending condolences to this person and his family because of what he said when it was just an opinion. And an opinion like Lil Man just did, that we found out that it wasn't true. It was just a way for him to spark the type of reaction that he needed to get to move that content around. Because think about it, all of those clips before he got murdered, all of those clips were already viral from things that he said. Why? Because emotional people shared it. It's just like whenever you put up some content, if people could tell you 1,000 comments, you could get positive, and the first time you see a negative comment, that's what you respond to. So that's the same thing. It's like, yo, so many people was ready to do that. And it's weird to me because now you got to think about it. With all the stuff surrounding his death, it's just weird, right? Because now it's reported that this did it and that did it and these person did it and this person's dad told, and it's just so much that goes on that it's just crazy. And then the one thing that this young kid said that made it really drive home is the fact that he said, yo, when it comes down to all these shootings, who's the ones that really doing the shootings? And he said, it's white dudes. And we got to kind of think about it. As much as Charlie Kirk talked about black people, I still don't really feel like he was a racist person. I just think that he has some really foul views about people based on the fact of what he didn't like. I think he grouped certain things together just based on the fact that he didn't like DEI. Somebody should have put it in this perspective of saying like, yo, fam, DEI has been existing before they labeled it DEI, because your people were the only ones getting jobs. Your people were the only ones getting loans and be able to buy homes and stuff like that. So technically, DEI has always been around. It only kind of worked for y'all, because there's so many of y'all that messed up companies and messed up businesses and stuff like that just because of nepotism, or just because somebody gave you something because they know you and they like you, or because you just look like them. So let's not put it in that perspective. It's just that nobody would challenge him on that point. You know why? Because every time he said something like that, they automatically got in their feelings and wanted to argue and wanted to fight and get into this verbal altercation with fam based on the fact that he said some shit like that, when easily you could say, yo, fam, we should be doing that to y'all, because for how many years has white people just been in shit just because they white? Right? Why? Like, and this is basic stuff. This is not something that we all should be upset about. That's the type of stuff that should go in one ear and out the other one, fam. Or when people say stuff like that, it's like, man, you bugging. Like, yo, it's just like that for y'all too. Like, what? What are you saying? Like, what do you mean? Because we can run down the stats. When it comes down to the most serial killers in the world, who are they? Bam. When it comes down to the most molestations in the family, who it come down to? Bam. Like, it's so many different things that we can run down when it comes to those groups of people. But the fact of the matter is that no matter how foul he said things or it was interpreted by black people still weren't the ones who killed him ultimately. And then Jimmy Kimmel, like that's crazy that people are trying to stick up for Jimmy Kimmel when Jimmy Kimmel in all talk shows, not just late night, but any talk show, no talk show should only be leaning one way politically, period. Unless that's the type of talk show, like you specify you're a Democratic talk show or a Republican talk show. Other than that, if you are a talk show, whether it's daytime or late night or whatever, you should not be one way, period. You should be neutral in the middle and critical of every side so the people could get the most, because that's what they're coming from. And if you are late night, you're supposed to be funny. Period. That's a part of what late night talk show is. It's because of the host is funny. The host is bringing humor. The host is making fun of certain things at the same time educating people through humor. That's what all of the great late night hosts always have done. That's what I've always seen or recognized them for. It wasn't like Howard Stern. You ain't see Howard Stern on late night television. You don't see all of these different people who are, I mean, you know what I'm saying, that just talk about things, just doing late night television. Late night television is set up for the comic, the comedian, the funny, the laughter, the lighting up, because that's the last thing of the night. Think about it, yo. Like, that's the energy you giving people before they go to sleep. Late night talk. That's that energy you're giving people before they go to sleep. So making people feel better, lightening up the mood, bringing up a different perspective. Why would any talk show be only leaning one way? He said that the shooter was MAGA and blamed the dude for MAGA when Charlie Kirk was MAGA. So what you saying, that it was MAGA on MAGA crime? And then we talking about Disney and all these other things, you know what I'm saying? But then we talk about why we feel like we supposed to be protesting and all this other stuff because he represented the Democratic Party. And it's like, we still as a group of people are only, man, like we still loyal to the Democratic Party, and you ain't getting nothing. Like, you've never received anything from this party to make you so loyal to the fact that if a guy like Jimmy Kimmel loses his job, that you feel like you want to protest. Like, are you upset? Because he said some stuff about somebody and now they took his, you know, it was like, yo, they claiming freedom of speech. Like, listen, nobody said you can't say what you want to say. Freedom of speech is you be able to say what you want to say. But there are consequences to what you say. Remember, they say life and death is in the power of the tongue. That's why in relationships, when you have people who disrespect you, whether it's your wife, husband, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, whenever there's a level of disrespect there, it's really hard to come back from that when a person is just violating the fact of who you are. That's why I said earlier, it goes back to why I'm so glad that God is not a person or is not a gender. At least I don't look at him as that. Because if it was, a lot of people would be dead right now just based off of disrespect. Right? God is the leader. And in certain other ranks, the leader is the leader. You don't get like, yo, and the only way that you don't have to deal with the leader that's leading you is to not be led by them. You can easily go find you another leader. It's just like a job. A job, whoever your job is, you're going to have a leader. If you don't go in as a leader, you're going to have one. And 9 times out of 10, if you're not the CEO, then you're gonna have a leader no matter what your rank is. It's gonna be somebody that you gotta report to. So you don't do that at work. So why do that at home? Or why do that in places that is in your personal life when you don't do that to the people that just pay that don't even write your check? The person that you report to don't sign your check at all. If you work for whoever you work for, the person you report, unless it's a small business. If you work for a small business, then yeah, the person you report to probably sign your check. But when you're working for a major corporation, trust me, the person that you're reporting to, the person that's there to watch over you, to approve your PTOs or make sure you're doing your work, not doing your work, do your one-on-ones, do all this other shit, the person that's there to give you permission to go live a life that you were born with, because that's what they do. They got to give you permission. Remember, in order for you to have days off, you got to ask for it. You got to get permission to have time off. And then if they say no, you can't go. Like, you got to think about that, yo. You got to call out. You got to wonder about getting an occurrence or something because you got something so important. But, only a certain amount of people in your department could be off. Listen, I'm saying to y'all, if y'all don't get nothing else from me, I'm just saying, like, there's got to be a level of motivation for people to never stop creating. That's just it. But back to what we was talking about. Listen, y'all, there are going to be things in this world that people are going to use against you because you're emotional. And if you don't figure out a way to control your emotions and be one of those people that is really wanting to research, because when it came down to Charlie Kirk, it's so many angry people angry at the people who are happy that he was murdered. But none of these same people were angry when Sandra Bland got murdered, Trayvon Martin got murdered, and even George Floyd, because even through a lot of the videos that they was circling around about Charlie Kirk is the things that he was saying about George Floyd, because for some reason people think that because you have a criminal record or because you may be dealing with addiction or whatever, that gives another person the right to kill you. Like, that gives another person a right to put their knee on his neck. So I get why people are saying, now, Charlie, you said that about George Floyd. Now, why wouldn't people say that about you if that happened to you? That is what I'm saying. But freedom of speech is freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but there are consequences to what you say. So yes, there would be a bunch of people that will point that out. Sir, remember when George Floyd got kneed out, everybody was talking about basically like he deserved it because he was a criminal, he was a drug addict, he was a da-da-da-da-da-da-da. He was trying to sell cigarettes. All these other things that people use to say, yo, everybody want to make him immortal. These are his words, Candace Owens' words, and all these other people, that was their words. Like, yo, everybody want to do this about George Floyd, and then trying to say the dude that need him out, they want to get him out. Michael Chauvin, they want to get him out. They feel like he should be exonerated, but for doing that, right? Like, he should be exonerated for kneeing him out because of this guy had all these things wrong. Not that the fact that he was just a human being, that he had some bad shit going on. Right? But he did not deserve to get kneed out. He did not deserve to get choked out until he was no longer here. He didn't deserve that, y'all. Just because he had a bad situation going on or he had a messed up little life or whatever that was, it didn't, equate to him being kneed out till he not here no more. Like, no. Like, none of that is should be justifiable. And just like Charlie Kirk, now look at him. He said this about your boy. He did. He said this about George Floyd. And now what's happening to him, people are saying, now look. But I want to play another video of another guy who said something because he was on Piers Morgan's show. And, he was coming from a perspective where he thought what happened to Charlie Kirk was actually funny. Like, they made fun of it. But he broke down why. So I want to play that. I want to share my screen with y'all on that end too. Let me share that with y'all real quick because I feel like y'all should see that. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me get this right because I want to share this with y'all because you know, so many people have different perspectives of things, right? And whenever they do come up with theirs, it's just a thing where you be like, yo, I really feel like there's other people that think like me, or people who say things out loud that you may be thinking, because sometimes you be like, damn, yo, I shouldn't have really thought that, because that's kind of foul. But when you find out that, nah, you probably was all right for doing that, because it's other people who actually think that way. So let me share this video with y'all. And yo, y'all know the comments are open. I want y'all to give me y'all opinions, man, like on things that I'm saying or whatever. I do got a comment from the Road Show I'm gonna show in a minute. But for those of y'all that's watching right now, when I play these videos, I want y'all to leave me comments. Tell me what y'all think, because yo, it's a different perspective to everything. Let's check this out real quick.
Why do you find this funny?
Oh,
well,
wait,
let me
hold
just
on.
say that I actually am a big advocate for dark
I don't
humor.
know if y'all can hear
And
that.
I
Let me
happen
see.
to have gotten a bit of a taste of that over the last, I don't know, maybe decade, when it came to the right and their memes of George Floyd. Happy birthday being sober for 5 years. When they came to their memes of Breonna Taylor, when it came to their memes of Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon challenge, right? When it came to their memes of Tamir Rice. So I don't know what the issue is. I think I'm engaging in the freedom of speech that the right has been advocating for these last 10 years, and mocking and making light of Black Death, something that Charlie Kirk himself did time and time again.
So, yeah. So, just a little perspective, y'all, on why I feel like in these day and times that we should be thankful for the fact that we have freedom of speech right now, because the last administration was choking that out. It was not. But you got to remember that freedom of speech come with consequences. Just because you can say what you want, don't mean that go how you wanted to go, because that's the thing, right? So we still got to be mindful of what we say. We still got to be respectful of others, and we still got to be empathetic. Like, we have to, because you never know when it'll happen to you. In this case, that's why Charlie Kirk is getting the backlash that he's getting now, is because when it happened to other people, he didn't have that same empathy that the people are asking everybody else to have for him now. Well, his family and all these other people, they're asking for everybody to have that same empathy, when him himself didn't have that for other people, regardless of how troubled they were. Because in this instance, he had a strong opinion. So no matter what his opinion was, he shouldn't have got murdered. And that's the same thing we feel about George Floyd, Sandra Bland, all of these other, Breonna Taylor. We feel the same thing for them. Like, yo, they didn't deserve to die just because, and that's what we're saying. And instead of people looking at it from that perspective and trying to get to an understanding, saying, all right, y'all, now it's time to put the bullshit aside. It's time for us to get out of this whole black and white thing. It's time for us to move somewhere else past that. Like, if you really can't get past the fact that you don't like somebody because of how they look, just say it. And whatever you got going on, whether it's a business or whatever, put it out there so we could not fuck with you. Period. We don't need that. So, yo, if you really feeling that way, just say it, put it out there, be honest about it, and we will leave you where you are. I promise you, we will. That goes for people who look like you or not. All you got to do is say it. It's a bunch of black people who saying, yo, I don't like being around black people too. Listen, okay, make it official. So that way we can know, like, yo, if you got a business, if you got products, yo, say that so we can know not to rock with you. There's no need for you to be feeling that way, but on the end, like, yo, I still got to get my money. No, you could get your money from the people who agree with you. Like, that's all you got to do. Put yourself in a position. So all the people who are black saying, I don't like black people, y'all can support each other. And the same thing with white people. Like, yo, if you are a white person that's still racist and talking about you don't like people because of their skin color and shit, then boom, listen, say that so we can leave y'all alone. Like, we'll leave you alone. We don't have to fight. We don't have to argue with y'all, man. We'll leave you alone. Yo, we don't need y'all. Listen, the number one culture in the world, not just in America, the number one culture in the world is black culture. Like, let's be completely honest, y'all. It don't matter from whatever genre of music that you could think about. We dominate that, yo. And I'm saying like that just based on culture, fashion. Even when it comes down, listen, y'all. I'm not here to try to brag on people in the skin color or based on melanin and all that other shit. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is that now's the time for us to use our critical thinking. If you don't want people to feel a certain way about you, then you need to make sure that you're not doing that to other people. It's just simple. For all y'all out here who really honestly think that people should not send condolences to a person who got murdered just because they had an opinion that you don't like. And listen, if you don't really look in the mirror and realize that you're no different than him by celebrating that, by you using the opinion that nobody should be doing that just because a person had an opinion. How many of us have an opinion each and every day that somebody doesn't like? It doesn't mean that we should die because we said something that people don't agree with. But if you do say something and it does cause you to die behind what you say, you got to remember, you got to be careful what you say. You have to. You have to find ways to say things, just like on these platforms. There's certain things we can't talk about. We can't talk about the jab. We can't talk about these type of things. Why? Because they shut your platform down. I know me. I know my stuff has been shadow banned for the longest. It's just that because of the way I talk and because of the conversations I have and the people that I have as guests. Like, they don't want that stuff moving around because what does that say? That says that, yo, it's a spotlight being put on people who are foul. And people don't like to, have the spotlight on being foul. They just want to be foul. They don't want nobody to know they foul because that's just like the racist people. They're not coming out saying they don't want to be racist because they want your money. Because that color is the color that they don't care about green. So that's what we all need to do. We need to change our skin color to green. That way people will accept us. Because as long as they accept that money. So they don't like you at all, they accept the money. So look. Next week, we got different topics, different things to talk about. I want to make sure before I get out of here, I want to show a couple things. Oh, hold on. Let me get to this comment real quick because I had a bunch of y'all on, but I guess y'all didn't want to engage with me tonight. It's all love. But just know that if you ever get on here, the comments are wide open. You guys have anything to say, like, let's talk about it because that's what it's about. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all listening to me, but engagement is cool too. If you got your opinion on what I'm saying, or if you don't really like what I'm saying, it don't matter. You could just still comment. It's wide open and people going to see it. I don't delete comments. I don't hide behind. I need people just to agree with me. That's not my style. I'm not with that. I don't get upset because people don't agree with me either. People don't agree with me all the time in life. I still keep moving. So, let's see what this comment said. No one would watch the Kardashians if it wasn't a train wreck. People love and are drawn to negativity, whether they like it or not, or admit it or not. And I'm with you because that's how it is in life, right? People could get a whole bunch of positive comments all day, and they won't recognize it, they won't acknowledge it, they don't like it, they don't love it. But the minute somebody say something negative, they're ready to clap. They're ready to snap. They're ready to jump on it. You done skipped over 100 positive messages to get to one freaking negative message. Now your whole day ruined. Now you got time. I got time. And all this other corny shit that people do. But you ain't have time for the positivity. That's why your life go the way that it goes. Because the last thing that a person should be replying to is the negativity. That if you think about this, if you know that people are putting corny shit on your posts and stuff like that, but then there are a bunch of people that are putting positivity, the more you only reply to the positive people and the people who are negative just constantly keep getting ignored, guess what they're going to do? They're going to keep commenting, and all that's going to do is keep boosting your ranking. All it's going to do is keep moving your shit around. That's it. All you got to do is keep commenting and responding to the positive people. And the negative people and the positive people are what? Going to continue to move your stuff around, and then you continue to get suggested to other people, letting them know, hey, this content is on fire. You might want to check it out. So instead of getting upset when people don't agree with you, use it. It's energy, right? So that's the point, yo. Word. Oh, love you too, cuz. Word, man. Always, man. Yo, my cuz show up for me almost every week, man. You know what I'm saying? So word. But listen, I want all of y'all out there to know, man, tonight is just the tip of the iceberg. I got so many videos that people have sent me, but they gotta be done in a way because this commentary in between is very important, y'all. It's like no need to have a platform if we can't have serious talk and real conversation. And I'm thankful for all my people that support each and every week. And I'm thankful for all of y'all that support and the playbacks and then y'all share all that stuff, yo. Thank y'all, man. But real quick, let's do this because let's see. We got 420 in the fall that's coming up in October, Saturday, October 4th. It's from 3 to 8 p.m. It is going to be one of the biggest, one of the dopest networking events of the fall. It's 420 themed, it's 420 based, sponsored by Lit Sticks in the building. Hold on, Lit Sticks in the building, right? And so what we doing outside, man, is that we trying to get people to come together. I'm looking for actors, actresses, models. I need brand ambassadors for the clothing line. I need actors and actresses to come through. We got more content that we shoot. We got more skits. We got more short films. And we got feature films coming within the spring. So we working. Right. So I need to add a little bit more talent, right? Because right now I got a nice little crew, but I need a few more because my crew do other things other times as well, too. So I got to make sure that we got the clippers loaded so we can always constantly keep this shit rolling. So I'm looking for y'all. So if you guys are available for on Saturday, October 4th, you want to come out, you want to experience the vibe, you got a spades partner that want to come out and get spanked or want to do some spanking, right? We got vendors. I got the vendors locked in. So we got really dope vendors that's going to be out there. And yo, it's a free event, but you got to be on my list. You got to be on my guest list to get in, right? Yo, you know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is email us at litsticksbrand@gmail.com. It's right here, RSVP at litsticksbrand@gmail.com, right? Put vibes in the subject. Right. And I'm going to put you on the guest list because it's at a secret location. Right. We only giving our address out the day before. Right. Because we only want the people to be there that want to be there. That's it. This is not a money grab. Right. This is a vibe. Right. And we want to make sure that we keep the vibes all positive. So if you want to be there, yo, that's all you got to do. Litsticksbrand@gmail.com. Put vibes in the subject. I get some information, put you on the guest list, and we get you in. You can bring who you want. It's not you don't have a limit on guests you want to bring or none of that. Y'all come through, you vibe. First 50 people get a free pre-roll. I mean, what better? You know what I'm saying? It's a free event. It's networking. There's people going to be there. We got vendors there. You get a free pre-roll. Come on, yo. Listen, just come on out and let's just rock out, all right? So I want y'all to do that. Again, the Stormed In series is rolling right now. We got Stormed In Part 1 and Part 2 out right now. Stormed In Part 3 comes out next Tuesday, right? So next Tuesday, I'm telling y'all, the clip is loaded. We're going to be dropping this content on y'all constantly. That's why I'm saying for those are the actors, those are the actresses, come on, yo. Come rock with your boy. Come meet me. Let's figure this out and see if you'll be a good fit to come rock with your boy. And let's go. Comedians, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all got y'all 5-minute, 10, 20-minute sets. That's dope. But you still need relevancy online. So come fuck with me. Let's work. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, all y'all out there, stay fly. Remember, we're gonna narrow down to the season, right? We go to like the first week of December, and then I shut down shop until the New Year. So we got a few more shows throughout the rest of the year. I'm gonna keep bringing y'all that heat, and I'm gonna keep bringing y'all that information. So until next week, y'all, I want y'all to hold it down out there, and remember, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. Okay? So until next week, I'm going to say peace.